Okay guys, welcome to the first ever TBO Live. Today we have, tonight we have a special guest. This is going to be our first guest, and he's not from the state of New Jersey. If you don't know already, we're New Jersey guys. We grew up in the Meadowlands, so I'm pleased to welcome Johnny Nitro Knight from Michigan, where they got the big men on campus, and we're talking big racks. Countrywide record deer. And bear with us as we're just getting used to all. Let's get him on here. Is this him? Yeah, I had to do some troubleshooting. That's okay. And you know what? I was on the wrong email account. So that's why I couldn't get you on, man. Hold on, let me get you. Let me see if I can get you on the split screen, because now it's gonna wanna. Yeah, I'm gonna record this just for purposes. Like I said, this is my first time doing. I'm not even used. I'm so used to doing Zooms, but people are telling me, "Hey, you gotta go Google Meet. You gotta go Google Meet." I'm like, all right. And then I was doing it with like my phone, and like I was doing a rundown. I got it, and now it's like, But anyway, hold on. Let me just do change layout. Let's do. Man, what's going on, man? How's everything been? How's hunting been?
Dude, hunting's been shitty up here. It's been, like, all of a sudden, instead of having great deer on my camera, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff, and we had EHD just take out everything. And we found, since last week, there was like 130 some deer were found in my county alone dead. And every week they're just finding, 50 here, 60 there. Just unbelievable.
So you really think that the disease of is really causing the deer population to go down?
That's the key in our state. There's so many mosquitoes. So my county, a couple other ones around us, but you go further north and there's deer all over the place.
Yeah, our issue this year is actually the heat. Right now, as I said in the intro, North Jersey. And North Jersey is 4 seasons to a T. That means hot summers, Jersey Shore, great fishing, and then cold winters, snow and all that. Right now it's supposed to be like 50 degrees. Maybe 35 degrees in the morning. Guess what the temperature was here today?
Probably about the same as here, about 77.
79.
Oh man, it's too hot.
It just doesn't make sense to go out and hunt when it's that warm. And it's just, you have to pay attention to the conditions. Anytime you're going out, here we go. Now I got you on the split screen. But yeah, anytime that you're going hunting and you're going out in the woods, you have to worry about pressure. And that's the big thing. That is
absolutely.
The absolute big thing is hunting pressure, especially this time of the year when you're going to have all those hunters in the woods.
Yeah, and all I do around where I'm at is hunt state land and public land. So it's opening morning, man. You go out there and you'll see people walking right past you. It's like, man.
Yeah, you have to go out there and find the spots that are under pressure. It's hard to do around here, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, and that's the deal is, especially if you're hunting. See, I hunt private land. When you're hunting limited spots, there's only so many stand locations you could do before you start stepping on other people's toes,
Yeah, for sure.
and you don't want to get into a situation where you are doing that. So.
Are you like a mobile hunter? Do you hunt cattle?
So, I actually did a feature with I'm trying to think of the name. I did a YouTube video with this guy from Long Island Wanderers. Slowpole is his name. It's a saddle, and I actually tried it out. We were shooting the bow last year. See, I won a bunch of arrows from Warhead last year.
Nice.
300 spine, and you would think the lower the number, like the lead. No, these are heavier arrows. So he convinced me. It's like, hey, you want a heavier setup, and it kind of makes sense because if you're at full draw, I have a D loop. It's 29 and a half, a really natural 30-inch arrows, and probably I'm almost around. If you were to put it in that, what do you call that thing? The chronograph?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The chronograph. I'd probably be at 300 feet per second, maybe 295. IBO, I'm at 329. I just got a new bow from PSC. I don't know if you saw that story.
I saw that, man. It's a nice looking setup, dude.
Yeah, I got a really special thanks to Dino up at Garden State Bow and Reel. Really hooking it up. I was in shock. I thought my hunting season was over. I thought, okay, I gotta wait for 6-day firearm and go out with the smoke pole. But
oh man.
Yeah, no, I was really nervous, and I got the call from Dino, and basically he said, he's like, hey, I talked to a rep at PSC, and they're giving you a free bow. And
oh man,
what I really think, see, they give you a little card when you get the bow, and you're supposed to actually fill it out. You fill out the card, and you just put the stamp on, and you just send it out. It's like a little postcard. So I actually did it. I did it with my last bow, which was a 2017, and I just did it with this year. And I get it something in the mail. I'm like, I'm getting invited to a wedding. I'm like, let's get married. Like, no, I'm not getting invited. It's like your bow has been registered, and you're now under the warranty. So
perfect.
So I'm like, all right, yeah. So if this were to happen again, which first it was a big shock because I really take good care of my equipment. Put wax on those strings and stuff like that. I'm careful putting in and out. I use a hard case. I don't use a soft case. Some of the new soft cases I saw, they have a nice, interior padding.
Yeah, yep.
But anyways, enough about me. I want to hear more about you. I want to hear more about your story. Starting off. Yeah, how'd you get into hunting?
So I grew up here in Michigan. I was always outdoors, hunting, fishing, but I never really found or never really heard of a bow season. It was always like November 15th. That's gun season. That's when you go out and hunt. Uh, so I did that throughout high school. After high school, I joined the Army. So I was actually upstate New York for about 13, well, no, about 8 years I was up there and loved it up there. Did a little bit of hunting up there, but deploying all the time. And then in 2010, I got shot when I was in Afghanistan. And it ruined me, man. I didn't know what to do afterwards. I ended up getting out, getting retired, and was just in a bad spot, man. And I took up bow hunting, and it was just an excuse to be out in the woods, man. So I did out in the woods, and the first season I'm out bow hunting, man, I had a little Bear lights out, little compound bow. It was awesome, man. You know, being in Michigan, you have to have a Bear bow at one point. So I'm out hunting and I shoot this like massive 12 point comes out with like double drop tines, and it was at like 10 yards, and I was just shaking. I was like, hell yeah, this is it. Well, I draw back, and I'm so used to gun hunting, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna put it right on his shoulder, and that was a big mistake, man. You hit the shoulder. It knocked the deer down, but that was it. It was fine. And it took me like 2 years before I could actually harvest a deer hunting with my bow. And bow hunting, it's gotten me out in the woods. It's therapeutic for me. I can shoot my bow in the backyard all day. And it's helped me out, man, dealing with the stresses of life and getting out of the Army and just like being mentally lost and not knowing what to do. Yeah, I picked up a bow and I've never put it down, man. So I've been an avid bow hunter now since 2013 is when I retired out of the Army.
Mm-hmm. Wow, thank you for your service. I really appreciate. Anytime I talk to a veteran, I kind of get goosebumps. I know Veterans Day is 2 weeks away. Both my grandfathers, they served our country. I had a grandfather who was in World War II, did both the Atlantic and the Pacific theater, mostly the Pacific. In that regard, was on the most decorated battleship, the USS South Dakota, BB-57. My paternal grandfather, he was also in the Navy, was in the Korean War, and then I had a great-grandfather on my paternal side who served in the Army, and the Atlantic Theater was a gunnery, and I remember he had hearing aids because of
right.
Yeah, but some interesting war stories. Who really helped get me into hunting was actually a Marine after my father passed away. I was, a very similar story. I don't know if you know about the TBO story. But
Yep.
It was started by my Uncle John, who was my father's brother, and myself. I really give the credit to my Uncle John. He went to a suicide prevention meeting back in 2017, and they gave you these name tags, and he wrote on the name tag Team Buffalo, and that's how the names Team Buffalo Outdoors came apart. My birthday was the next month, and he told me about it. We just took it from there, so
That's awesome, man. That's an awesome story, brother.
But anyway, to get connected to people in the outdoors, share my father's passion, which is passed down to me, passed down to his younger brother, and whatnot. But when I was, like you were saying, you were lost.
Oh, absolutely.
That struggle. When you went out into the woods, how did you, find that peace?
It took a minute, man. You go out there, and I loved being in nature as a kid. I'd run around the woods playing with stick guns and everything, just having fun. And as an adult, I'm out of the Army. I had the best career ever one day, and the next day I'm done. I could never go back to that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So it hit me, man. So I would just go in the woods and sit, and I would tell everyone, "Hey, I'm gonna go out hunting," and I would just go sit in the woods, man. And if I saw an animal, great. If I didn't, it didn't matter. I was just being submerged in nature and just like listening to the woods and seeing what God created all around you, man. Like it was just, it sounds weird, man, but it was spiritual being out there in the woods and just being surrounded by nature and everything else. And then you really start to see what's all around, how you feel. It was just magical, brother. It really was.
Yeah, to me, there's no better feeling than being out in nature. Either you're going out on the water, like I love to fish. You know, that's probably was my first passion, was fishing. My dad took me hunting later on in life, and you know, I felt that loss like you did. And then when I got back into it, the first time I went bow hunting was actually in the Pine Barrens.
Okay.
Back in 2011. I got my bow license. I didn't go out though that year. It was in 2010. The next year, my Uncle Bruce, who was a Marine, served in Vietnam. This is my father's uncle, by the way. He took me out by his house in the Pine Barrens. He had this ladder stand, and I'm just sitting there, you know, just waiting, staying still. I said, okay. I don't think I saw anything. I remember it got a little cold, but it was right around this time of the year. And, you know, I didn't hunt the Pine Barrens again until actually last week.
Really?
Yeah. So I moved my Uncle John down there, and he's by some public, well, not public land. It's a preserve. You need to file permission online for it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's thick down there, but I was able to get up with the climber, a summit climber, and I saw a deer first sit, you know, 45 yards. I couldn't get a shot on them. What I've noticed, deer haven't been, especially in my area, they haven't been responding to calls as I'd like. And I want to get into my next topic. When it comes to this time of the year with the rut, what do you use? What are your tactics? Are you rattling? Are you grunting? Do you use a snort wheeze?
All of the above, man. I mean, rattle bags are huge. I have one with me. So I saddle hunt, so I carry everything in my backpack out with me. So I was carrying the drop sheds for a while, but I just picked up I think it's a Primos rattle bag. I'll carry that. I'll throw a bleach can in my bag. The grunt.
The Primos.
Oh yeah. Yep. That one. I think I've had the same one for like 5 years, and I think I've used it like once or twice. But yeah, I have that. I have a grunt call. The snort wheeze, I seen that for the first time in the wild last year, and I was like, man, that is so cool. So I've started implementing that more. And
I used the snort wheeze actually on Sunday. I saw a buck on Sunday, probably about like 70 yards. And he's walking away, like he's on his thing. Right now, it's in Jersey. We have that seeking phase, right? We're starting to we're in the pre-rut, starting to transition into the seeking phase, which I would say is going to start November 2nd. Is that true seeking phase start? But it's right now they're marking their territories, and he's on his own thing. He's on his own path. I'm trying to hit the grunt. You know, I really believe, and I've been really successful. I got the true rattlers. I bring a pair of double antlers with me.
Okay.
And I rattle. And every time I've done that, the first 2 times of the year, I'll see deer, and they get close, but not too close. They're like it gets them in the area.
Yeah.
And I do it in the morning, and then so I see him. He's on his own path. He's not going to cross me. He's not going to get into range. I try hitting the grunt. Nothing can do. He's not even paying attention. I try to snort. I do the snort wheeze, and he stops and he looks around. And I know. He stops again, looks around. But then he just keeps walking on his path. I'm just like, oh, man, you're stubborn. He wasn't a shooter, but, you know, but you know what? I got this new bow. I'm a little itchy, and maybe I just want to get a shot on them. All right.
Absolutely. And so I worked with a Whitetail Advantage podcast, right? So we talked with hunters from all across the country and see what is going on in your state versus our state. And what I learned, New Jersey, right? You guys have to harvest a doe first before you can get a buck.
In the month of September.
So is that it? Okay.
Just it. So it's called Earn a Buck, and it's in most zones, not all the zones. The true bow season actually starts the last Monday of September, I believe. The last Monday of September is when the true bow season starts. So they call that actually early. That's part of your fall bow tag. So you have to shoot a doe first or an antlerless first. You could shoot a button buck, and I've done that by mistake before and earned my buck tag. Okay. But once you get that done, now you're what we would call buck eligible. But once the fall bow really starts, okay, you could shoot a buck.
So I've been basing my hunting this season off of that concept where, all right, I'm going to shoot a doe or a smaller buck first. I just want to get the first one out of the way, get some meat in the freezer. That way I can start actually hunting those mature bucks that I want. And, once you do that, man, you just feel so much better about everything. Because you're not going to have tag soup. You actually have meat in the freezer, So you're... Yeah. Oh, we've all been
sandwiches. There, that law came out in 1999. I was 7 years old. I remember when that came out too. I remember my dad talking about it, and it was originally for the whole season. For the first couple years, yeah. And then when I started getting into deer hunting, which was actually in the early 2010s, I've been pheasant, turkey prior. But when I started getting into deer hunting, it's always been that first in September, earn a buck. Fall bow goes all the way till the last Friday of October. And then the great thing about fall bow, you can hunt any zone you want in the state. But once you get the permit bow, and they time this, New Jersey's very, very, they're clever.
Oh, yeah.
When the good hunting's time, okay, here's permit. Now you got to get a permit, and it's zone specific. So you got to get a tag in zone 58, and you have to pay, it's $56 for the $28 per zone, and you can only get up to 3 zones, and then you have to pay another $26 for the buck tag. So, it could wind up spending, over $100 just on the permit bow, while the regular fall bow license is only $31.50.
Oh, man. They'll know how to get you, man. That's for sure.
Yep. So that's when the good hunting is, and, you got to pay some quid to play.
Oh, for sure. Now, what I like about out there is, though, you can get bear over the counter, right?
Bear is not by lottery, it's OTC, and it's a $2 tag right now. I've heard that they are looking to raise the price to $20 by next season, but right now I got my bear tag for the first time ever this season, and we have two seasons. There's Series A and Series B. Series A just passed. It's the second week of October. Then Series B runs concurrent with 6 Day Firearm, which is the second week of December. And so the luxury part about that, as long as you're not hunting over bait, which I actually stopped hunting over bait this year, you could hunt with a muzzleloader or a shotgun.
Nice.
And deer at the same time, which is, very convenient for the hunter.
Oh, for sure.
So you don't want. I've known a couple of people on our property. Since, like I said, I hunt private property. we don't want to be in that position where, hey, we're after our target buck here, but we got a bear problem and we got to harvest a couple bear, because the bear population the past 5 years has just exploded in our state.
Oh, dude, I've seen the videos you put out from your trail cams, and I mean, you guys have so many black bears. It's crazy. And that last video you just posted was insane.
3 years ago, I'm gonna say we had maybe 4 bear on our property. Now it's up to like 20.
Man, that is wild.
And our deer population's down, way down. So it went from inverse like that. So how are the bear in Michigan?
So we're unique. So we have the Upper Peninsula as well. So we all know Michigan is, like this, but we also have the Upper Peninsula. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of bear in the UP. We have in the Upper Peninsula or the UP, we have bear and we have moose. We also have wolves. The wolves have destroyed the deer population. And the wolves have also destroyed the moose population. There for a while we were talking about having a moose season, but that's not going to happen in the near future. Now you come down into the lower peninsula, the normal Michigan, I'll say. Up top you have bear and you have elk. So yeah, in Michigan we have elk, moose, bear, wolves, and we have all sorts of stuff. But we can't hunt any of them. We can hunt bear. It's a lottery system. It's a point-based system, so you can get drawn for that. We can get drawn for elk. It's a once-in-a-lifetime hunt, so once you get drawn, you're done. It's usually point preference, but I want to say it's less than 0.1%, or you have less than a 0.1% chance of being drawn your first time. And this year, I actually met someone who got drawn for their first time, a 21-year-old kid, man. So he got drawn for a cow and smoked a nice cow. But where I'm at, we're starting to see black bear transition down this far south. Mm-hmm. But a lot of them are in the northern UP, northern lower peninsula, and mid-Michigan. But I've been putting in for a bear hunt in this one spot in the UP, and last year they had the record number of 500-pound plus bears in Michigan. I want to say in that county there was, like 150 tags issued, and over half of them were over 500-pound bears harvested.
500 pounds. We just had a 770-pound bear harvested, which is actually a state record this year.
I saw that.
A lot of bear. And my buddy, he actually knows one of his coworkers. Actually, is really good friends with that dude. You see the picture, like he's laying down, and you see the big bear. Man, that guy's been eating good.
That's unbelievable. Like, they're just massive animals.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, that's the one who took that most recent video where he's up in the stand. I told him to, hold the phone sideways like that, so you get in frame. We're gonna take a long video. Get the landscape portrait. Don't get the vertical. That's for Instagram. So he didn't listen. He still got it vertical, but a cup came in and he just sitting there, and he's like right underneath this tree stand, and it's just he's just like annoyed. He's like, all right, go away. And then he gets down, he does some scouting. He actually comes in contact with him on the ground 5 yards away. On feet, and he just does nothing. He's just sitting there. The bear's just sitting there. He's telling me. He didn't get this on video. And he's like, all right. But it's like, okay, you're afraid of getting mauled. I think everyone has a little bit of fear. You don't want to bring the knife to the bear fight.
Exactly, You think of a bear, your first response, it doesn't matter how big it is. You run into a bear in the wild, it's going to be massive, in your mind anyways. But I've seen it where I'll run into black bear and they'll scurry off as soon as they see you.
It's like 90% of the time they will do that. It's when you run into mama bear protecting those little cubs.
Absolutely.
That's when they get protective, and that's where you're going to be on the defensive. That's where you want to, make a lot of noise, look as loud as possible, like large as possible. But bear safety is something that I think needs to be preached a little bit more. Not only just in the woods, but we've been starting to get some bear into the suburbs, and I think the education needs to be passed down to just general society. Everyone, you got the bear lovers, you see them on the highway. I don't know if you have them by you.
We sure do.
Stop the bear hunt. But whichever way you are, you still have to know that, hey, these are wild animals. They don't know what the law is. They don't care. They're in the wild. And if they're going to attack you, hey, they're going to attack you. And you have to.
And there's not a lot you can do.
You have to be prepared for that. So I think that as the bear population rises, we as a society have to be prepared to, deal with that change.
Oh, 100% agree with you, man. I mean, we took over their their land, and now they're just moving back. So
they're indigenous animals.
That's right.
So, Johnny, I want to know what was some of your most recent good memories out in the woods, if you could tell me.
Oh man, last year, so I took my oldest daughter. She was 11 at the time. Took her out hunting, and just spending time in the ground blind with her. Right, just having fun. And I was hunting a piece of public land, but in town, so it was a mile from my house. And dude, I took the keys out of my truck, put them in my pocket, got in the deer blind, and I dropped them. So we packed up. It was dark. She was cold, and completely lost the keys, man. I was like, oh my God, I can't find the keys. So we're looking all over the place. And she's like, well, what are we going to do? I was like, we're going to have to walk home and get the spare set. It's a mile. We can make it. And she's like, all right. And at that point, I'm like, all right, she's down for it, man. She's all about it. She was going to make that walk. And we ended up finding them. But I was like, well, do you want to go back out again? And she's like, can I hang on to the keys? I'm like, of course. So, like, just being outside and getting my kids out, man. Like, I absolutely love that.
If you look behind me, Johnny, you see that turkey.
Oh yeah.
That's the one my dad took me. It was Youth Day. I was 14 years old, April 15, 2006, with the shotgun. And the first time ever turkey hunting. Didn't know what I heard. It was very tough. Like, people strived all their lives to get a turkey. And my dad got me onto 3 gobblers. I took my first 2 shots. I miss. And I got one left in the chamber. And I just remember hearing now I take coaching really well. And he's like, aim for the second one. And then, I kid you not, I don't know if you ever saw those like Western movies, those old Westerns where time kind of slows down and it's just like, you get that dead eye. That happened to me in real life as a 14-year-old. Time legit slowed down. All I saw, like, I was using an iron sight, it turned into a scope, and I saw the turkey head of that second gobbler, and I was able to lead him, like, from here, was able to shoot there, boom, and I saw him wings flapping on the ground, and I'm just like, well, the first one was on the ground too. I hit both of them, but we did a high five. And the first one gone. I think I just sprayed the back of the first one. We could never find the first. We wound up searching. I would actually probably been in a lot of trouble if I would have harvested that.
Oh yeah, that's same here with us.
But it wound up to be a double beard, 9.5 inches, and to this day, my favorite memory of all time in my life. And I don't think it could ever be surpassed. I kid you not.
So, yep, when my daughter was 4, I took her out on a youth hunt. And we were in the back of my dad's property. and we had a little ground blind, and I had an 870 with a strobe on it, and I had it all on a lead sled. And I was like, all right, if you see a deer, you can shoot it. She's like, really? I'm like, yep. So this giant dude, still to this day, the biggest doe I've ever seen, came out. And I was like, hey, do you want to shoot that one? And my daughter looks at it. She's 4, and she's like, no. I'm like, are you sure? That's a big doe. Nope. And like the doe just takes off running, and this really tall 7-point comes out. And she's like, I want that one. I'm like, all right. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, put the crosshair or put the axe right where I showed you. And I stood up and I had my hip on that stock of that 870. Dude, she hammers this buck. I mean, just like looks to the stroke, boom! That deer just drops and just like dozers around and then just dies. Dude, it happened so fast. I turned like this to look at her, and she's already out the door, running up to the deer, like just so excited.
You can.
And I was like, hold on, like we have to make sure this is all done.
You can do that with a shotgun. The 870, that's what you call that. I think that's was rated the 10 best shotguns. It's one of those over reliables, the 870 pump. Or if you like the semi-auto loader action with the 1100.
The 1100s.
Which is what I'm used to.
Yep, and she did that one shot with the old Winchester Super X 12-gauge rounds and just hammered that buck. And
Super X.
Dude, she was out so fast, and that was like my proudest moment, for sure. And then I have 2 girls and a son, and my middle daughter's just 7, and she's like, "Can we go hunting? Can we go hunting?" I'm like, "Yes, but right now you have school, so we'll go out during the weekend." And she's like, "Oh man." But yeah, dude, getting the kids out there—that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, no, I'm the absolute same way. To me, there's nothing like taking your kid hunting. And
no, not at all.
Some of my friends, they have kids already. My one buddy, he's gonna turn 4. And he's already taken them out into the woods. He's like one of the guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, wow, okay.
And so this year, my cousin reached out, and we're about the same age. I'm a couple years older than him. And he reaches out and he's like, "Hey, do you have a bow I can use?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've got an extra one. Come on, we'll go shoot." So we're shooting the bow a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, can you take me hunting?" "Yeah, man, I had no idea you ever wanted to." Well, he's like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to, but my dad never hunted. You're the only hunter I know." And I'm like, "For sure." So this year I took him out turkey hunting for the first time. And like you said, right, turkey hunting is this super challenging thing, right? So he decides he wants to bow hunt a turkey. I'm like, all right, we can do that. I'll ditch in the woods. I'll get a turkey in front of you. All you have to do is sit still and wait for it. Dude, he sits down in that swamp and the mosquitoes are bad. He sits down and going like this. I'm like, "Dude, you got to calm down." And he's like, "Nope, can't do it." So he gets up and walks off. I'm like, all right. And then later on in the season, he's like, "Hey, can we go deer hunting?" "Yeah, man, I'll take you out deer hunting." I take him out opening day, man. And bless his heart, man, he sat there. But it was, and I'm guilty of it too. He's always on his phone, checking his watch on his phone. But he's out there. He enjoyed it. Once he started seeing deer, he really enjoyed it. But it was up until that point, And it's, how it is. You're hunting. You're not seeing anything for hours. You check your phone. Before you know it, you're just scrolling on your phone. And then the deer start moving, and it's just a whole game changer right there.
Which is what I want to know. My next question is, what is your favorite distraction when you're in the woods? What is the best way to pass by time?
Dude, honestly, Onyx. I use Onyx, and I'll be in the tree stand, and I'm second guessing myself. I'll saddle hunt, so I'll pick a spot. I'll go up there, and I'll sit there, and within an hour, I have Onnets out on my phone, and I'm like, oh, there's a good spot right over there. All right, the wind's blowing this way, and I'll start plotting where I want to sit next time. And I love that. It gets me, preps me up for a different, if the wind is blowing this way, where am I going to sit? And I love it. It gets me ready for the next hunt, but at the same time, it takes me out of the hunt in the moment. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes a ton of sense. Now, you sent me this video, and it's you shooting this deer, and I must have looked at this maybe about 50 times, and I'm gonna play it right now for the live stream, and as you can see, it's just she's perfectly broadside, and it's just that you just smoke them. You just smoke, like, that's just like the perfect shot, and you just see him jump, boom. How far did that deer go?
27 yards. I watched that deer crash, and I saw the white belly come up, and I was like, I'm done. Like, that's perfect. And about 10 minutes later, that other little buck came walking right back out and just hung out there. And I'm just like, I could get both of them today. So I don't want to. It's like, go back and get your big brother. But yeah, I took that shot, and so I screwed up really bad last year on a shot, even closer than that. And I was like, I'm not going to do that again. So all summer, man, I'm shooting from different positions. I'm shooting constantly. I shoot for Warhead Arrow companies as well, and I was shooting arrows left and right, man. I was probably 200 to 300 a week. And I'm like, I am not making that mistake again. And it paid off, man. That deer came out, got it on, first time hunting from a saddle, first time self-filming, did all of that, and that was just the perfect shot.
The perfect shot is something that you either get lucky with it or it's by practice, and I say it's the latter. I did a video, I don't know if you saw this on Instagram or not, is that you kind of feel it. You kind of know when you shoot a deer by sound. You know where you hit by sound rather than by sight. And I don't know if you could agree with that, but I liken it to, you're actually just fitting it in. You're feeling the shot. It's like it comes from within, like from your gut. It's so hard to explain, and I'm just amazed by that's like now, like we're in the world of AI and stuff like that. Where they think, everything, self-driving cars, and everyone's playing video games, and everything's so analytical. And I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't, or they forget about, is that we're human beings, and when we're going up against nature, the advantage that we still have against a robot actually going out, or machines, with farming and all that stuff, is that we have instinct.
Absolutely.
And we could feel things. Now we're starting, as we go on in our generation, we're starting to lose that. Unless we spend in nature, generation goes on, we're losing less and less instinct as society. But we're still living beings, and we're granted with this sixth sense of ability that we can't touch, we can't taste. It's just, it comes from within.
Yeah.
And you just have that feeling when, hey, this is going to be the good day. This is going to be it. And then it comes up, and then boom, this is the good shot. Like right away you did a bad shot. Like,
oh, yeah. And like you said in that video, sound, right? The sound will tell you everything. Well, when you're at full draw, what I like to do is I like to envision where the shot's going to exit out. Okay, well, I need to make sure that arrows and etch it through the heart. All right, well, where do I have to aim at on the anatomy to make that happen right now? And doing that, and like you said earlier when you were turkey hunting, time can slow down. You just want to process everything and take it all in and just focus on that front, or not the front sight, but focus on your pin, where it's going. All right, how's your peep lining up? All right, is that level on your, or that bubble on your level good? All right, we're good there. All right, now how's the pressure on your release? Are you gonna jerk it? How's your hand grip on that riser? What's it? I mean, so many little things that you have to think about all the time to make that perfect shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes luck is the only thing that happens too, because there's plenty of times I've just got plain lucky.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's you have to be prepared, but you have to be at the right place and the right time. And there's been so many instances where, you know, hey, I should have hunted. You look at my camera, there he was. You know, probably my biggest regret in my hunting career so far is been actually waiting on a shot, because this is what I was taught. This is they're going to jay around. This is when I actually had this 2 years ago. I had bait out to my left. I'm sitting a lock-on stand, and I have a giant 11-pointer that's going to be on the wall behind me. Boone and Crockett, Pope and Young, get me awards.
Yep.
He's 34 yards away. He's within range. But he's to my right. And if you're shooting a compound, you know that's an awkward shot.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very awkward shot, and that's a very tough shot. So I says, I'm going to wait. He's going to jay around. I've seen this story before. I know it. He's going to jay around. Here he comes. Instead of that hook, he goes straight.
Yep. Many times. All right. All right. You know, when you're at full draw on that deer, and right when you release that deer, you want to aim at that lower 1/3.
Yep.
Because he's going to drop, right? Well, I got, here, let me show you here. I got, let me see. I got this guy at 13 yards, right there.
Wow.
And he did not drop. So when I shot, he did not drop like I was anticipating. I shot right under him. Completely fucking missed. Sorry. Completely missed, right? I was out there for 4 days. I was out there for a 4-day hunt and missed him. The last day I saw him, I missed him at 13 yards. The very last day I ran back into him at 10 and dropped him. But dude, that is the most gut-wrenching feeling ever.
No, I completely agree with that, because you know, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna see him again. I'm gonna see him again. Yep. What I've learned from experience, and I've heard this. I get asked this question every time. So my buddy actually got into shooting range with a decent buck on Sunday afternoon at night. Probably like 20 minutes left of shooting late, and he just couldn't get a shot on him. He's like, am I going to see him again? From my experience, the answer to that is actually, I hope he's not watching this. No. No.
Yep.
You know,
but you don't want to tell him that.
No, you don't want to tell him that. You have to take your shots. Nothing's going to be perfect when you're out in the woods. Sometimes you have to take an uncomfortable, like you said before, you were taking those uncomfortable shots. You're the lean. It's almost like you're playing quarterback and you're Patrick Mahomes and you're throwing the ball sidearm. You have to get, you know, you saddle hunt, you get that full range of motion. Yeah, I hunt from the climber and a lock-on, but I use that. What I love about this hunter safety system is that I can get a lean. I can get some lean.
Yeah.
Oh, I use that to an advantage. And you want to, when you're shooting from elevation, you want to actually kind of bend at the hip a little bit. And then, now what kind of release do you use?
I actually have a spot hog, thumb release.
Thumb release. So you go back to thumb. So I switched to that last year. I was true fire all the way and punching my shots. I could probably be up to it. I shoot at the Outdoor Expo every year. I'm a 230, 240 shooter. Okay, I'm not a 300 shooter, but I try to be as competitive as possible, and I feel the shots in. I'm seasoned. Okay, with the thumb release, I felt like that got me to 250, 260. It's gotten me more consistent. I'm more control. I lose this factor of me pulling shots. Now it's just more smooth, and now it's just more on the front hand and working those mechanics, which are, I think, so imperative as a hunter. You're an athlete.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So when you're out in the woods, if you're shooting a compound, and even shooting a rifle or a shotgun muzzleloader, you're an athlete. Now the crossbow, no offense to those who.
Yep.
I've shot I've shot a few crossbows before. I've shot the Raven. I shot the new 10-point TRX 515. I just shot the 505 that my buddy Nicky just got. They're actually, now you feel a little recoil because they're so fast. They're like a gun though. It's like a gun except without the recoil. There's not, it's not even the punching the shot. Like you could get away with some bad mechanics too.
Yeah,
that.
I know.
I still practice good mechanics, but when I had a little bad mechanics, I actually shot. My bow was in the shop, and I borrowed my buddy's crossbow. I'm 2 for 2 with the crossbow. 2 times out with the crossbow, 2 deer. It's
nice.
cheating. It's cheating.
It's fair. It makes it easy. That's for sure.
And these were shots that were I wouldn't have taken with the compound. These are like almost 40 yards.
So 2 years ago, where I work, it's a giant warehouse, and my boss lets me shoot my bow inside on bad weather days, and I can shoot 70 yards inside. So, I mean, it's trick shots, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd put my bad back, and I'd have people holding the door, or I'll prop doors open, and I'm shooting from inside, outside. And for a week straight, I was making 60, 70-yard shots all day with my bow. And I felt comfortable. And I had ran into this one buck in the morning, and I never got a shot off. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to change my spot. And it's like you were saying, I just felt like it's going to happen that night. So I left work, went out to the stand, got in. I had a Summit Climber as well. Got into the stand, and the buck came out at 47 yards. I'm like, I can make this all day. Dude, I drew back, shot that deer, ran 50 yards because he died right behind my tree stand. And I was like, that is like another great shot. Like, probably to this day I wouldn't take that shot again, but I had been shooting at 60 and 70 all week. I was like, I got this. Oh, it was double lung and nicked his heart. It was perfect. My tree stand.
Wow, that's just amazing. What kind of bow are you shooting, by the way? I didn't even ask you this question.
So I shoot an Elite. I have a bow for my daughter, which is the Elite Ember. I currently shoot the Elite Era, the carbon bow, mm-hmm. And then I have a Elite Cure that I shoot every once in a while as well. Mm-hmm. But I never bought a new bow, and this year I went all out and I bought my very first new bow. Mm-hmm. It's that Elite Era, and I love that thing, man. It's the most shootable bow I've ever had.
How would you feel the difference between the carbon fiber and then the aluminums?
Okay, so in the winter, dude, when my hands get cold, I turn into a giant baby. I mean, I hate being cold, and there's been some chilly mornings out here so far this year, and that carbon bow just like my hands don't get cold. I can stay out there a little bit longer. It's nice, man. I'm definitely spoiled with that bow right now. I don't think I'm going to be buying a new one though anytime soon. So that's probably nice.
Yeah, no, I agree. I still shoot an aluminum, but the aluminum bow that I had before actually didn't have a grip. It was just pure metal. I've been shooting PSE since 1997. That was the first shot. November 2nd, 1997 was the first time. I still have the target downstairs.
Really?
In my base. Yep.
Nice.
And I still have the bow that I got. It was a PSE. My dad actually shot a golden eagle. And I still have his bow. I want to go out and shoot it, but it's a nice souvenir.
Oh, absolutely.
But I've just shot PSE, and then when I grew older, he got me a PSE, I believe a Spider, or PSE Nova. First one was a Spider, yep. The second was a Nova, which I took out opening day this year. And then, then I got the Brute. I got on Cabela's. I saw it was the best bow that Cabela's had by PSE. And I shop a lot. I used to shop, I still do shop a lot at Cabela's. And that's what I got, was that PSE Brute Force Light. And I loved the thing. And is it top of the line bow? No. Is it the entry level bow? No. It's a mid-grade bow. That I thought was just perfect for me. It was light. I was worried that if I was in a situation where, if I'm in a standoff, I have to be drawn back for a minute, 60 seconds. I don't want weight in my front arm, affect me, and now I'm wobbling. So I try to compensate the weight. I thought it was the best value. Obviously, it says ready to shoot. You have to take it to a good bow guy. You have to get it ready to shoot. And then I had the issue with the cracked limb, and that's where I got the Brute Force ATK, Brute ATK, and I love the thing. Man, the upgrade, the new bows, and I've shot the Dudley NXT at the shows, and I've held the Matthews lift at the shop when I was getting this bow. I tell you, it competes with them. Is it at that level? No, but I'm saying, for bang for the buck, it's right there. You could harvest deer, harvest game, and shoot 60 yards, 70 yards effectively with this machine.
I have a Bear Lights Out bow. I think I paid $100 for it like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. I still love shooting that bow, man. I mean, it's set up. I probably have $150 into it, but I've killed deer with it, and I love shooting it. I mean, that was the first bow I ever got where it was, because I shoot a 31-inch draw length, and you can change or adjust the draw length on it with just a couple set screws. And it's like, man, this is so awesome. I'd have a Hoyt, and you'd have to buy brand new cams and everything for it. And this Elite that I have now, it's super micro adjustments, which are nice. But one of the guys on our team for Whitetail Advantage he's a pro shooter for PSE. And that dude's he's convincing me to try a PSE. I haven't shot one yet, but I need to.
Dudley was a part of the PSE brand from, I believe, 2018 to, he first started shooting PSE, then he went to Hoyt, and was at Hoyt the longest time. Hoyt, when I think of Hoyt, that's your big, bad, I just got done with the gym, and now I'm shooting 100 pounds, really aggressive let off, fast bow. It's going to rip your shoulder out. You're going to need shoulder surgery when you're 45 years old if you keep shooting Hoyt. Yeah. But that's when I think of Hoyt, that's what I think of. PSE, precision shooting equipment. That's what I grew up shooting. That's what I felt. When it came to PSE and he was building those knock-on bows, I was like, wow. Like, these are smooth. Like, he wasn't going, like, PSE and Hoyt were going for the top speed. Them every year. I would say Matthews was in the Cadillac category.
Oh yeah.
Heavy bows, but the smoothest. They're the actual smoothest. PSE is like, all right, we're gonna do 90% let off. So we got this new EC whatever cam system.
Yep.
And then I heard, what's his name, John Shipley or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He got bought out by a group, and they had a group meeting, and Dudley was in, and I heard Dudley walked out on the meeting. He's like, "That's
Man.
it." I think the direction that they want to put PSC. I heard the new line of PSC this year was just substandard of what the brand is. And from what I've shot and what Dudley did, and they had the new carbon fiber bows and all that, they had a good run 6-7 years where I thought they were building the best bows in the business. And I think now it's back to Matthews and Hoyt being the top dogs.
Well, I think Hoyt finally announced that the RX-8 is now like the most expensive bear bow.
20 something. You can get the Alpha for $1,300, which competes with the Matthews Lift.
Yeah. Now I bought my bow. I paid, I think, $1,100 for it, and I was like, I've never paid this much for a bow. But that Elite is the smoothest. I mean, I've held it back for 2 minutes, and it's just nothing. It's a 90% let off. I love that bow, and I've shot the Lifts, and I'm not a big fan of them. The Hoyts, I can't even afford to shoot those. But
to me, it's why are you? It's now you're charging the brand price. It's like cars.
Exactly.
It's like you're driving it. Oh, hey, you want the Mercedes? You want the car? I've seen this with muzzleloaders too. Everything just jumped up in price.
Oh yeah.
Your name is Knight. I don't know. Do you shoot muzzleloaders or?
I do. I have an Optima
CVA,
which I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
That was the CVA Optima. I love that thing.
I've shot the Acura or Acura, whatever you want to call it, the 50 caliber, the 45 caliber. I've shot as well. Blackhorn 209. You shoot Blackhorn or you shoot?
Yep, I do.
By weight or by volume?
By weight.
By weight, yeah, that's how you got to do it. I got the little scale. I love it, but I don't shoot a CVA. I shoot your Johnny Nitro Knight.
Yeah.
I shoot a Knight.
Okay.
I shoot a Knight disc. See, Knight came out with this Peregrine, and it first was a 10 millimeter, which if you convert that, it's really about 40 caliber.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be 3,000 feet per second, which is unheard of for a muzzleloader. Now, 40 caliber, not many states use that muzzleloader. So they actually came out, it's a 1/16 twist, which if you don't know what a twist rate is, it's how many inches do you get one revolution? One circle around. So if you take a stick and say you mark a point, how many inches are you going to go 360 degrees? So that one number is that one revolution /16. That would be 16 inches. Their 45 caliber is 118, 18 inches, which is fast for a muzzleloader. We're used to back 50 years ago, percussion cap 148. That's one revolution every 48 inches. Yep.
Man, that's probably a smoothbore ball.
The Hawkins, which are very common back in the day, the percussion cap, flintlocks, late PA season is the flintlock. Right now is their regular inline season. You're shooting either conicals, heavy conicals, or a round ball, patch and ball. And you're only getting maybe 75 yards MOA, 100 yards tops if you're a really good shot. MOA with the iron sight. And now with these new muzzleloaders at 1/16 twist, it's safe to say you're possibly at a 500, if you're a great shooter, 600-700 yards, almost 500 yards MOA, I think is safe to say. But I saw this guy from Iowa, shoot up to 800 yards with a Night Mountaineer 45 caliber.
Man,
Insane.
that is insane.
So that's why I don't know if you can agree with me or not, but muzzleloader gives you the opportunity of a rifle. It's almost like driving stick with a firearm. You know, you get full control if you're shooting loose powder, not the pelletized powder. And you get your bullet, you get your primer, you get to match everything, get to customize everything you're shot. Yeah, you only get usually one shot. Even if you're a speed loader, you're usually going to get one shot.
Exactly.
But you get the effectiveness of a rifle, but the convenience of being, getting that early part of the season, get the first crack.
Yeah, you're basically rifle hunting. Like, so where I live in Michigan, we can't use. Well, we just got past. We've used a straight wall cylinder cartridge for rifle. So 350 Legend, 450 Bushmaster, 357, stuff like that you can use. So a lot of people before that were using muzzleloaders just because they're more accurate and you can reach out there further than you can with the shotgun. Once they passed, the straight wall cartridge law where you can shoot with a 450 or whatever, then the 450 was popular for a while, and then 350 Legend came out 2 years ago, and that's been a real popular round out here. But yeah, a lot of people were using muzzleloaders just for the accuracy and the distance that you were getting.
Even with the 50 caliber, the true, that's probably if you're getting cleaning supplies, you're getting your ammunition. It's going to be the 50 caliber. It's going to be the most common to find. Now, are you shooting Sabot bullets? Or are you shooting?
No, I'm shooting the Sabots.
Shooting the Sabots.
Yeah.
What type you're shooting?
I don't have any here. I don't know what types they are, but I can usually shoot. I'm usually at about 1 MOA. 1.5 MOA at 100 yards, so inch and a half at 100 yards with them.
Yeah, that's what I usually get about. With my daddy used to get 200 yards MOA, 1 inch,
Man.
maybe even like touching half inch, with the muzzle loader, So he had it dialed in. I like the Barnes expanders. Knight calls them Red Hots.
Yep.
The MOA is a little bit, what I've noticed when I shoot them, a little bit more spread out. So maybe I'm at a full inch at 100 yards instead of like a half 0.75. But I like the ballistics of it to kill. I used to shoot these TC shockwaves, and what I found out, actually the hard way, is that if you shoot a deer close enough, like under 50 yards, they don't expand. It's like shooting a field point.
Oh, yeah.
So the MOA is like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is spot on. But, it doesn't do you any good if you're shooting a field tip. You need that expansion. You need that, lethal ballistic.
You need that kinetic energy once it hits, yeah.
So that's why I wound up changing. They have a Bloodline bullet. I think Lehigh Defense makes them.
Lehigh Defense makes some amazing bullets, man.
And now I think Fury, they have a deal with Fury to make those bullets. They have a sizer to make that 10 millimeter bullet, which I heard is 3,000 feet per second, man. Speed kills.
I'm a big, pistol wise, I'm a huge 10 millimeter fan. I love those rounds. And man, 10 millimeter muzzleloader, it makes sense. Like you said, it's you look at 38 Special and 357. Yep. That's a 10 millimeter and a 40 right there.
Yep, you're 0.1 away from a 410 slug gun, if you really think about it. And 410, man, that is probably my favorite caliber shotgun, because I grew up upland bird hunting pheasants, and you don't want to blow the bird up. So the 410, it's probably the best shotgun. It's got a little kit. It's the smallest caliber shotgun you get, but if you use it for slug, for deer, you get the longest range. And it's still big enough.
Yep,
to
that was
harvest.
my first shotgun. Was a little 410 single shot, and I love that thing.
Yeah, no, it's I had one of my buddies. He just had a boy a few months ago, and he came up to me. He's like, "What should I get? Should I get a 22?" I'm like, "Of course you're gonna get a 22. Of course you're gonna get a BB gun, but get a 410." And trust me, start off shooting with that. You're gonna feel a little bit of recoil. You're actually gonna feel gun. You're gonna get kicked. Not too much kick, but you're gonna feel the kick. You're gonna get used to it. You're gonna get tempered to it. And I think it's so important and so imperative, when you're going to learn those mechanics and to feel the shots. Go out, trap shoot, skeet shoot.
Oh yeah.
And just those, gain the reaction time, and not just for shooting, but it just will help you just overall as a human being and as an athlete, and it's really just, it helps you grow up. These are just foundational, not just going on the TV. As you see, you don't see no PlayStation behind me. I'm not on the. I think the PlayStation's that's the 5.
They're out with the 5 now.
Out with the 5 now. Yeah, no. I stopped that years ago. So I stopped the video games and went into hunting, and I'm so happy I did, because there's nothing like real life.
There isn't, man. I completely agree with that.
Now, if you were to go out, one animal that's on your bucket list, what would it be?
I'm gonna have to say moose. I know a lot of people say elk. I really want a moose.
So you want the biggest cervidae that's out there?
I look at it this way. I want to shoot a moose because I love venison bat straps, and I want to see how large a moose's bat straps really are. Like, that is, that's it. That's the only reason I want a moose.
Which you answered.
Bull, cow, don't matter.
You answered my next question, which was, what was going to be your favorite cut on the deer, or favorite, game to eat?
Oh man, so when I lived in Kansas for a while, and I was hunting out there, and I shot this little doe, and we were cutting it up in the field, and I took the loins out, right? And this dude looks at me, and he's like, "What are you doing with that?" I'm like, "This is the best cut of meat on a deer, the loins." He's like, "No, man, that's coyote food. Like, we keep that in the deer." It's like, "Are you kidding me?" So we went back to the camp, and I grilled it up, and we ate it, man. He's like, "Man, this is amazing." I'm like, "Yeah." So I think on a whitetail, it's the loins, but the bat straps are pretty close second, man.
So you're going to go tenderloins, which is not many people know if you look at the deer. And I'm going to actually go T-bone steak, porterhouse steak. And you got the T, and you got the bone. You got the small cut, and you got the large cut. The large cut is the back strap. That's the New York strip. That's the short loin. And the other cut is the psoas major, and that's the tenderloin, or the filet mignon, chateaubriand. It is the most tender cut of meat. But what I've learned is, when you're gutting a deer, you got to make sure you protect them. Sometimes you have to skin them a little bit, because you get a little bit of guts.
Oh, absolutely.
Wash them off, pat them down, and you get them wet. You got to make sure you're dry when you put them in the freezer. It's not a lot of meat, but I agree. Tenderloin's such an underrated cut, because some people discard it because it gets dirty when they're gutting a deer.
Yeah.
They're field dressing the deer, and you're missing probably the best cut, technically, the fillet.
With mine, whenever I harvest a deer, I never put the tenderloins in the freezer. I'll eat them that day. And me and my middle daughter, I have to fight her for those. She will sit there and eat them all. And like you said, it's not the biggest cut of meat, but the tenderloins, fry them up with some eggs and have that as a meal. Oh man, that's amazing right there.
It's funny that you say that, because that's how my uncle John does tenderloins. You do it for breakfast, but
Yep.
he's a backstrap person. And I want to tell you what my favorite cut. I love the backstraps. I love the tenderloin. I'm a huge fan of the sirloin roast. This time of the year, it's the football shaped one.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about when you're doing
right there on the hind quarter. Yeah.
Slow roasted thing. You marinate it, you slow roast it, and then you give it a real good. You got to slap some ghee on or clarified butter on the thing, and then real hot. Get your grill like 800 degrees. If it's raining out, use the broiler, high heat. Get it as hot as possible, and get that thing like charred.
Yep.
Let it cool off. Put it in the fridge. Slice it real thin. Get 2 pieces of bread, Swiss cheese, a little horseradish, and then put some of that marinated in a little soy sauce. I use coconut aminos. Try to stay away from the gluten. And then, oh my gosh, it's like amazing. Slice it real thin, like almost like if you have a slicer, I would say use that. But I like to get the temperature 125 is when I take it out. I actually let it cool down for a half hour because it's going to go up to 130.
Okay.
That's when I get the sear in. That's when I start that grill and I get that char. So I'm not affecting the interior of the meat. I'm just getting that crunch.
Getting that crunch on it. Oh, for sure, man.
So
I'm going to have to try that recipe this year.
Oh, I make it every Halloween week. That's what I had for dinner tonight.
I saw you post it. Yeah, that looked amazing.
Yeah, no, it was to me it's if you do it right, you're going to like it. But the back straps, you do it with some mushrooms and some Maggi sauce or the coconut aminos.
Oh yeah.
That's why we deer hunt.
That's 100%, man. 100%.
All right, so before we wrap up here, we're gonna do a rapid fire here.
All right.
And just a couple questions. Just be really quick with it. So I'm gonna go set a timer here. Let's go, Alexa. Set timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
All right, we're gonna go. Bow or gun?
Bow.
Venison or turkey?
Venison.
Okay. Hunt with your family or hunt with your daughter or hunt by yourself?
With my daughter.
Okay.
Family.
Public or private?
Public.
Shoot long range or shoot short range?
I'm comfortable doing both. That's why you got to practice in the off season.
Perfect. Inshore fishing or offshore fishing?
Ooh, inshore, but I want to try outshore, man. I'm going down to South Carolina this spring and I'm going to do some.
Favorite fish to catch?
Oh, king salmon.
Chinook. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Biggest deer you ever got?
183 is what he scored, and it's a typical 10.
Longest shot you've ever taken with a compound?
47 yards.
40.
On a deer, target-wise, 100 yards.
Right. Iron sights or scope glass?
Ooh, a good piece of glass.
Good piece of glass.
Yep.
Single pin or multi-pin?
Multi.
Multi-pin. Okay.
I'm shooting a three-pin slider.
Fixed blade broadheads or mechanicals?
Time and place for both. Whitetail deer, I can use mechanical all day. If I'm shooting through heavier brush, it's a fixed blade. Anything bigger than a whitetail, fixed blade.
Favorite type of camo pattern?
Ooh, Woodland BDU.
I've never heard of that.
That's the original. Yeah, that's the original Army camouflage right there.
And I think that's it. We're done. Alexa, turn off. Well, John, that was absolutely incredible. I think we knocked it out of the park.
Dude, I had a lot of fun, brother. I really did.
We got rid of some of that rust. I might want to try to make this a thing. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how our fans, react to this. But everyone who's watched this show, I really hope you gained some insight on this. I really thank Johnny Nitro Knight all the way from Michigan, looking for that big man on campus this year, the land of the Giants, for joining us tonight on the first ever TBO Live. This has just been an incredible experience. If you haven't, as you see, I'm wearing the TBO. Hunting is essential. It's essential here. You get this on the TBO website. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Johnny, you take care.
Hey, you do the same, brother. I'll talk to you later. We got to get you on our podcast, though. Whitetail Advantage, you've got to come on, man.
Oh, let me know when you have a spot open for me. I'll join.
We'll do it, man. We'll make it happen, brother.
All right, be good.
All right, you too, man. Talk to you later.
All right, later.